I'm Shivani Mathur, student at Middlesex University, Dubai, and I'm an advocate and pioneer of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. I've been involved with numerous SDG projects. I directed a documentary, She's Here to Stay, correlating to SDG 5, gender equality, featuring women from various industries discussing the issues that arise in the workplace that stem from gender inequality, bias, and lack of gender balance. I became a youth ambassador for the United Nations Global Compact UAE local network in October 2017, and that really helped me learn about ways to incorporate SDGs in various activities and events and network with people that can embellish the SDG projects that I intend to pioneer. I'm also assisting a professor in undertaking various panel discussions, corporate social responsibility related events, and SDG projects under the Institute of Sustainability at my university, and I mentored a team from my university that competed in the Global Goals World Cup UAE and took part in the world's largest lesson. The most prominent long term SDG project that I've been involved with is Kaleidoscope, which is later on better explained in this short film. I'm truly passionate about SDGs, and through taking up various initiatives that promote SDGs and teach fellow youth about their outreach, I've come to not only understand the targets and knowledge relating to SDGs, but also how they can pragmatically be implemented in various events, curricula, and activities. On my own community level, I'm already propelling awareness and know how about the SDGs and would love this ambassadorship to further this initiative of involving more youth in implementing SDGs. After all, no one left behind is the virtue behind the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, says Natalia Kanem, the executive director of the UN Population Fund. And that's exactly what I aim to do. I want youth from every stratum to feel empowered and aware enough of the SDGs to incorporate and implement them in their respective projects and fields, and want there to be a global leap in SDG implementation. I'm Shivani Mathur, and I'm here to talk about some of the SDG projects that I've pioneered. In April 2017, I directed a documentary called She's Here to Stay, which was in support of Goal 5, gender equality, where different women from different fields and realms came and talked about the issues that they face at the workplace. Some of the themes that were covered were wage gap, sexual harassment at the workplace, and glass ceiling. That documentary received a lot of positive feedback, and I even had the honor of screening it at the Palace of the Royal Highness Sheikh Shamar. Other than that, I am very interested in learning about SDGs, in delivering as much information as I have about SDGs to fellow youth. And one of the things that I really love about the SDGs is how inclusive it is and how relatable it is. The fact that you can infuse and incorporate SDGs in so many different fields and so many different tasks. You don't have to be an environmentalist or somebody very serious or affiliated directly with a UN agency to be involved in SDGs. No one left behind is the slogan behind SDGs, and I really like that. SDGs are not just about development and growth in the traditional mindset. It covers more than just GDP, education, healthcare, and infrastructure. It looks at qualitative parameters such as mental health, such as inclusion and diversity in opportunity, such as no corruption, peace and justice, and strong institutions. And that's what's really inspiring to me about SDGs. So, out of the very many different SDG events that I have been a part of, helped organize, attended, the one that's closest to my heart and what this film is about is a monthly event that I organize on campus called Kaleidoscope. It's an open mic and a cultural slam where various performers, be it painters, dancers, musicians, poets, actors, public speakers, they all come together and perform in support of the monthly theme. And each of this theme is inspired by one or more sustainable development goal. So we debuted this event in September of 2017 as part of our Freshers Week, and the theme for it was energy. It was inspired by Goal 11, and it was really interesting to see that different people interpret energy in such different ways. What's really cool about Kaleidoscope is how far we've come. In the very first Kaleidoscope that I organized, most of the audience members didn't have their hand up when I asked them if they know what SDGs are,
And everybody came to perform and showcase their art, but they didn't really know what they were going to take away from it. As months have gone by, as different kaleidoscopes have happened, people have come to understand that it's not a talent show, it's not just a platform for you to perform, but it's also a place for you to learn. Learn about what the SDGs are, what they represent, how you can get involved, and how all inclusive and diverse they really are. So, the reason why, when I was thinking about how I can involve youth in SDGs, I decided Kaleidoscope is because you can have as many educational seminars as you want. You can teach it as part of the curriculum, but one definitive way that more and more people are going to get involved, especially the youth, is if you make it fun, if you make it entertaining and engaging. Another really big merit of Kaleidoscope has been destigmatizing the image that a lot of Dubai youth tend to have. People seem to believe that we're not very invested in the performing arts, that we don't really care that much about arts and culture, and that all we like doing is shopping and indoorsy things and going on long drives. But that's not really true. There's a lot of talent out here in Dubai. There's a lot of talent out here that's very diverse. You know, you'd be surprised at how many people can make poetry on such philosophical, beautiful themes. You'd be surprised at how intelligently people can do monologues and skits which support things such as peace and justice and strong institutions. And that's what's beautiful about Kaleidoscope, that it's creative, it's engaging, it's fun. So after the first Kaleidoscope, we then had our second Kaleidoscope in November 2017, where the theme was equality. And that was very beautiful and it was really fun because people talked about racial equality, gender equality, equality in just the most innovative forms and ways that you wouldn't think of. People had poetry, people had dance, people had medleys of music that talk about empowerment and equality of opportunity. And it's just really interesting to see what exactly students take away from Kaleidoscopes. They come in expectation of just showcasing their talent and maybe getting entertained. But what they leave is with an entitled idea of how different and diverse people's mindsets can be on the same uniform theme, and just what the SDGs mean and represent, and how not just inclusive but how versatile SDGs can be in terms of how you incorporate it in your daily life, how you incorporate it in maybe your operations if you're a company, how you can incorporate it in your own little projects as a student. It's really interesting to look at. We also had Kaleidoscopes in support of peace and justice and strong institutions, and also partnership, which was inspired by Goal 17, partnership for the goals. Again, it was really cool because people talked about partnerships in business corporations, people talked about the partnership of the mind and the soul, partnerships that we create with different collaborators on our way to forge our career path. And then I think one of the biggest milestones that we faced with Kaleidoscope was the fact that it got reinstated for this academic year. So other than that, I think each Kaleidoscope, I feel like we as the youth are winning because more and more hands go up when I ask them, have you heard about the UN SDGs? We went from people being able to name one or two SDGs to people being able to name almost all of them, even if not in the right order. They still know all the different themes and goals and sort of world issues that these SDGs try to battle, you know. So this year we've had two Kaleidoscopes so far. We had one in September whose theme was language. It was inspired by Goal 4, quality education, and it was, I think, my favorite Kaleidoscope because it had poets perform poetry on different themes but in different languages, you know. And it was really interesting to look at what role youth think education plays in their own lives, and how education can be bettered, and you know, the different problems in our education system. But more than that, it wasn't just informative or educational, but people talked about body language, people talked about the language of our vernacular, the language of social media, and that's what I'm trying to talk about. You know, Kaleidoscope is very versatile, Kaleidoscope is really diverse. And the last Kaleidoscope that we had was in celebration of United Nations Day on October 24th, and its theme was hunger in support of Goal 2, Zero Hunger. And again, it was really interesting to look at the fact that people didn't just talk about food security and physiological hunger, but also hunger for ambition, hunger for peace, hunger for love. And it's a really beautiful event and a very successful event. And what I love the most about Kaleidoscope is that there's not really a lot of room for people getting bored. It's got almost infinite possibilities. You can always reinstate Kaleidoscope with a different theme and, repeat SDGs, but take different facets of the same SDG. And that's why this is my most beloved SDG project that I've been involved with. And the reason why also I think that I would be an amazing SDG ambassador is because I care about the SDGs. I love teaching the SDGs, and also as part of Kaleidoscope, I've gotten experience in introducing SDGs to youth in a very introductory way, in explaining to them how they can get involved, in explaining to them how it can be sort of streamlined in their own different individual paths. So don't take my word on how successful Kaleidoscope is. Watch for yourself. Here onward, you're going to see a medley of some of our kaleidoscopes, and you'll see for yourself how beautiful and euphoric it is, and how it's just something that honestly even other universities, other institutions can incorporate. It doesn't have to be a monthly thing, it can be an annual thing. But this sort of format of including arts and using that as a mouthpiece to teach SDGs and propel SDGs is something that can be replicated by different institutions. And once again, it would be my utmost honor to be an SDG ambassador, because I care about SDGs. My favorite SDGs would be Goal 5, Gender Equality; Goal 10, Reduced Inequalities; and Goal 16, Peace and Justice in Strong Institutions. And over the past, I would say 18 months or so, I've come to learn more and more about SDGs, their targets, the problems with them, how to tackle them, literally through the excuse of Kaleidoscope. I read up more on each SDG every time there's a Kaleidoscope, and I do think that if not expertise, I do have enough of passion and enough of a thirst to learn to be able to then further teach SDGs. I've done it before, I've done it as part of Kaleidoscope, and it's been my utmost pleasure. So I hope you enjoy.
You can have all the money in your hands, all the possessions anyone can ever have, but it's all a worthless treasure. True worth is only measured not by what you got, but what you got in your heart. You can have everything. What does it mean? What does it mean? It don't mean nothing if you don't stand up for something. No, you can't just talk that talk. You got to walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing if you don't stand up for something. Yeah. Now stand up for you. I'll stand up for you. Oh. You do the best that you can do. Then looking in the mirror, be proud of who's looking back at you. Define the life that you're living, not by what you take or what you're giving. And if you're bad enough, there's no way you'll ever lose. So take a stand for what's right. It's always worth the fight. It all means nothing. If you don't stand up for something, if you don't, you can't just talk that talk. You gotta walk that walk. Yes, you do. It all means nothing. Don't stand for something, yeah. And I'll stand up for you. I'll stand up for you. Yeah. It all means nothing. It never does if you don't stand up for something. No, but I'll stand up for you. I'll stand up for you.
Hunger, a word commonly used but usually neglected, and an issue commonly found but usually rejected. Voices crying out and washed away, associated with those who yearn for more. We hear what they say and turn the other way. I wonder what comes to your mind when you hear the word hunger. Is it those who sit and weep by thunder? Is it those who hold their aching bellies, wishing for some food? Is it those who strive for success, yearning for some security to aid their mood? A constant pain to a forceful snooze. Constantly searching for a safe haven, a dream of climbing through the classes, but the positions are already taken. Is it those that crave to be loved and understood in a world so barren and icy cold where each care for themselves and not others? Is that the world we want to leave behind? Each person is waiting for the other to do the right thing. Can't you be the one to take out a coin and give to the poor? Can't you be the one to show compassion when a stranger seems torn? Can't you be the voice that stands against injustice? Or have you chosen to be a taker, never a giver? Have you chosen yourself before all of humanity? Because that's just feeding one thing, and that's the hunger of your soul. How can we expect to manage after we have caused all of this damage? For those with the word which we speak of will one day awaken, ignoring the outcast maybe we have mistaken. So is pain in our souls, or is it a human invention? And would it all be gone if we had better intentions? Thank you very much.
My beautiful pal, we broke in 47s. Still patronized, snubbed, hustled, tussled, but not in sync, but against each other. Love had witnessed yet another twist. My beautiful pal, in her 65s, she hit my lamps. So did mine, hers. This what soulness, not enmity, chronology, witnessed our split. My beautiful pal was stubborn, firm, never heard from anyone. Asked for another one, millions heard, no one spoke. 70 saw it yet again. 99 asked again, people died, complexities multiplied. My beautiful pal, oh my beautiful pal, is famous for salwar, but my people completed with kameez. My pal named itself Pakistan, though I was named India. My hunger for peace continues to strive, strives, and strives. Thank you.